How are ambulances made? There are a few different types of ambulances, but they all share one commonality. They must be able to get to the scene of an emergency as quickly as possible. That means that ambulances need to be built with speed in mind. But it's not just about building a fast vehicle. It also needs to be able to transport patients safely and comfortably. With all these factors in mind, how are ambulances made? Step 1. The chassis. The first step is to choose a chassis for the ambulance. This is the base vehicle that will be used to build the ambulance. There are a number of different options available, but the most common is a van. Vans are used because they're relatively inexpensive, easy to find, and can be customized to meet the specific needs of the ambulance. However, some services opt for other chassis, such as a pickup truck or SUV for more rugged terrain. Once the chassis has been chosen, it's time to start making the body of the ambulance. The body is what sets the ambulance apart from other vehicles on the road. It's what gives the vehicle its emergency lights, sirens, and other equipment. It's also important that the body be strong enough to protect the patient, the ambulance crew, and bystanders from harm. Many companies use aluminum for the ambulance body because it's lightweight yet durable. Other companies use fiberglass or plastic for their bodies. These materials are even lighter than aluminum and are often cheaper as well. The downside to using these materials is that they're not as strong as aluminum. After the body has been constructed, it's time to add the equipment. This includes things like the lights and sirens, as well as any specialized medical equipment. In the case of this ambulance, we're adding a stretcher and a ventilator. The stretcher is used to transport patients who are unconscious or unable to move on their own. The ventilator is used to help patients breathe if they're having trouble doing so on their own. In addition to this equipment, ambulances also need to have a number of safety features. This includes things like a backup camera, which is used to help the driver see behind him while driving. Another important safety feature is the flashing lights on top of the ambulance. These lights are designed to alert other drivers that the ambulance is on an emergency call, and to make sure that everyone stays safe. But building an ambulance isn't just about slapping some lights and a siren on a van. It's a highly technical process that requires skilled craftsmanship. Let's take a look at how it's done at a manufacturing plant. We'll start with the frame. The frame is the skeleton of the ambulance. It's what everything else is attached to. In order to make the frame, several pieces of metal are cut and then put together. This is done using a process called laser cutting. A laser is used to cut the metal into the desired shape. This is faster and more accurate than cutting by hand. Once the pieces have been cut, they're put together using robots. Robots are used to put the frame together quickly and accurately. This ensures that the frame is ready for the next step in the process. Next, the frame goes to the paint shop. Here it's coated with a special paint that will protect it from the elements. This is important because the ambulance will be exposed to all sorts of weather conditions, so it needs to be able to withstand them. The paint is applied using a process called electrostatic painting. This allows the paint to adhere to the frame better. After the frame has been painted, it's time to add the body. The body is attached to the frame using bolts. This makes it easy to remove the body if needed. The body is made up of several pieces that are attached together using adhesives. This makes the body strong and rigid. Once the body is attached, it's time to add the equipment. The equipment is attached to the body using brackets. This keeps the equipment from moving around and ensures that it's easily accessible. Now that the equipment is installed, it's time to do some final assembly. This includes things like installing the windows and doors. It also includes attaching the lights and sirens to the roof of the ambulance. And finally, it's time to do the finishing touches. This includes things like adding the decals and lettering to the side of the ambulance. It also includes cleaning up the work area and getting the ambulance ready to be shipped to its new owner. Building an ambulance is a complex process that takes a lot of time and effort. It requires skilled workers who are experts in their field, from the frame to the body to the equipment. Each piece must be installed correctly in order for the ambulance to function properly. The end result is a vehicle that's ready to help save lives. The next step is to add the interior. The interior is where the patient will ride. It needs to be comfortable and safe. An ambulance's interior can be customized to meet the specific needs of the service. Some services opt for a bench-style seat, while others prefer a scoop stretcher. The interior also needs to be easy to clean. That's why many ambulance companies use vinyl flooring and wall coverings. But an ambulance is more than just a van with a siren. It's a complex piece of equipment that requires specialized training to operate. Ambulance crews are responsible for transporting patients to hospitals, but they also provide medical care along the way. That's why it's important that the ambulance be equipped with the right tools. For example, an ambulance might be equipped with a stretcher, ventilator, defibrillator, and other life-saving equipment. In addition, the ambulance needs to be able to transport patients safely. That's why it's important that the vehicle be able to withstand collisions and other accidents. Another important consideration is fuel efficiency. Ambulances are driven long distances every day. That's why it's important that they get good gas mileage. Many ambulance companies are switching to hybrid or electric vehicles in order to save money on fuel costs. Finally, the ambulance needs to be low maintenance. No one wants to spend time repairing the ambulance when they could be out on calls. That's why many ambulance companies buy vehicles that are known for their reliability. Now let's take a look at how ambulances are made in a factory. The first step is to cut the metal for the ambulance body. The metal is cut into the right shapes and sizes using a variety of saws and other tools. Once the metal has been cut, it's time to assemble the body. The body is assembled using a combination of welding, riveting, and bolting. The finished body is then primed and painted. The next step is to install the equipment on the ambulance. This equipment includes the lights and sirens, as well as any specialized medical equipment. Equipment is installed according to the specifications of the customer. Once the equipment has been installed, the ambulance is ready to be finished. This includes things like adding the decals and lettering. If you've ever wondered what happens to old ambulances, the answer might surprise you. Many ambulances are donated to medical missions in developing countries after they've been retired. This gives the ambulance a second life and allows it to continue helping people. Some ambulances are also used as storage units or converted into campers. Others are simply scrapped. It takes about 8 weeks to build an ambulance from start to finish. The first step is to order the parts. Once the parts arrive, it takes about 2 weeks to assemble the ambulance. After the ambulance is assembled, it goes to the paint shop, where it takes another week to paint the ambulance. The final step is to install the equipment, which takes about 4 weeks. On average, ambulances cost between $40,000 and $100,000 to manufacture. The price of an ambulance can vary depending on the make and model, as well as any customizations. Ambulances come in a variety of shapes and sizes. The most common type is the Type 1 ambulance, which is a van that's been converted for emergency medical services. Type 2 ambulances are built on a truck chassis and are typically used for off-road or wilderness medicine. Type 3 ambulances are the least common type and are typically used for transporting patients between facilities. Now you know how ambulances are made. They're manufactured with the intention of providing emergency medical services as quickly and efficiently as possible. If you're interested in learning more about ambulances, check out our website. Thanks for watching.